Welcome back to starting a business. Okay, we're talking about understanding tax obligations. Man, this is definitely a badoozy. You understand? Of course you do. Okay, so now listen, understanding your tax obligations is essential and massively important for running a legal and financially responsible and financially sound business. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an overview of the key tax requirements for businesses. Of course, you have federal taxes, state taxes, payroll taxes, self-employment taxes, estimated taxes. Look, man, it is a tax headache. You got what I'm saying? Now, look, most businesses are required to pay federal income taxes. That's the type of tax that you pay depends on your business structure. For example, sole proprietorships and partnerships report business income on their personal tax returns, but corporations file separate tax returns. Does that make sense? Now, as it applies to state taxes, look, depending on your location, you may need to pay state income taxes, sales taxes, and other state-specific taxes. But what you have to do is that you have to check with your state's tax authority to understand your tax obligation. As it applies to payroll taxes, if you have employees, you are responsible for withholding and paying payroll taxes, including Social Security and Medicare taxes, federal income tax withholdings, and state income tax withholding if they are applicable, because some states don't require a tax. I live in Texas. Texas does not have a state tax. Now, as it applies to self-employment tax, listen. If you are self-employed, you are responsible for withholding and paying payroll taxes, including Social Security, including Medicare taxes, including federal income tax withholding, including state income tax withholding if your state taxes you. It's your responsibility. Remember earlier when I was talking about accountability, it is your responsibility. It's your business. Now listen, as it applies to self-employment taxes, if you're self-employed, you are responsible for paying self-employment taxes, which cover Social Security and Medicare contributions. It is your responsibility to pay your taxes. That's just how it is. Now, when I said estimated taxes, many businesses are required to make quarterly estimated tax payments if they expect to owe a certain amount in taxes. Now, this is done because they want to help ensure that you don't have a large tax bill at the end of the year. If you don't get anything from this portion of this presentation, just understand that, listen, it is your responsibility to pay your taxes and to comply with tax regulations. So you got to keep accurate and up-to-date financial records and consider working with an accountant or a tax professional to ensure that you consistently meet all of your tax obligations. Because if you do not, it will be a gigantic sad face for you. Let's talk about something lighter. Let's talk about setup operations. Okay, so we're talking about location and facilities. Listen, choosing the right location and setting up your facilities are so important. They are very critical steps in starting your business. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you key considerations. And that's choosing a business location, setting up a home office or commercial space, outfitting your space. Now, when you're choosing a business location, you have to think customer accessibility. You got to ensure that your location is convenient for your target customers. High traffic areas, they attract more foot traffic, but guess what? They're usually more expensive. You also got to think about the cost. Evaluate the cost of renting. You got to think about utilities and all the other expenses that come along with owning a business. Consider your budget and the potential return on investment. You always got to think about that bottom line. You got to think about that ROI, that return on that investment. Now, this is something that some individuals do not think when they're starting a business. You got to know your zoning laws. You got me? So when you're choosing a business location, you got to know the zoning laws. So check your local zoning regulations to ensure that your business type is permitted in that chosen area that you want to do business in. You also got to think about the proximity to your suppliers and partners. Look, being close to your suppliers reduces shipping costs, right? And could improve efficiency. So if I had a business and I was selling popcorn, but my business was right beside the paper bag manufacturing place that I'm selling my popcorn out of paper bags, then guess what? I don't got to pay a lot of money because they're right next door. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Okay, so you got to think about your competition because we're still talking about choosing a location, right? So you got to think about your competition. So analyze the presence of your competitors, because being near competitors can attract more customers to your area, but too much competition can be very challenging. You're like, man, I gotta do a sale every single week because this guy over here who's doing the same thing, you understand what I'm saying? Competition, man, competition. Okay, let's talk about number 2. Setting up a home office or a commercial space. What to do. Listen, as it applies to a home office, if you choose to work from home, you're going to have to set up a dedicated workspace that minimizes distractions and is equipped with the necessary tools, technology, and resources to make you successful at that business. Now, as it applies to a commercial space, if you need a commercial space, look, you got to think about the size. You got to think about the layout. You got to think about the lease terms. Make sure the space that you get meets your business needs and allows you for future growth. You got to think about the potential of your business growing, because your business is definitely gonna grow. Now, when I say outfitting your space, number 3, listen, choose functional and comfortable furniture that suits your business type. For example, let's say you got retail store, right? You may need display fixtures, right? You're gonna need, offices that require desks and chairs and things of that nature, right? You got to think about technology. You got to think about the equipment. You got to invest in the necessary technology and equipment to run your business efficiently and effectively, because you want to create a desired outcome. So guess what? That may include computers, printers, all types of specialized equipment for your industry. You also got to set up essential utilities like electricity, water, internet, phone services. Look, you got to ensure that you have reliable and super high speed internet access because what you want to do is you want to have full support for your operations. You got me? So let's talk about technology and equipment. Well, I'm here to tell you, no one wants to talk about technology and equipment. It's very difficult because technology consistently changes at the speed of thought. But I'm telling you, listen, investing in the right technology and equipment is crucial for the efficiency and the effectiveness and the productivity of your business. So let me give you some tips. You gotta identify necessary technology and equipment. Think about purchasing and maintaining that equipment. You gotta think about the security of it. You gotta think about the backup. Oh man, it's a headache, but it is really needed. Really needed. So I need you to identify the tools and equipment specific to your industry. For example, if you're a restaurant, right, you may need kitchen appliances, but a graphic design business requires high performance computers and design software. So you have to know what you really need. And you also have to ensure that you have the necessary office equipment, those printers and communication devices and computers. You got to invest in software solutions that basically streamline your operations. You have to have accounting software. You have to have customer relationship management systems. You have to have project management tools. It's so many things, so many resources that you have to have. Look, you got to allocate a portion of your budget for purchasing and maintaining equipment. You just have to do this. You got to consider both the initial cost and that ongoing expense of maintaining computers. And you got to think about the life cycle of the computers that you purchase. Oh man, it's a headache, but it's a good headache, because what you're doing is that you're putting yourself in a position to create generational wealth. That's what you're doing by owning this business. But I might talk about that later. But let's get back to the presentation. I want you to choose high quality and reliable equipment, because what you want to do is you're trying to avoid frequent breakdowns and replacements. You got to decide to lease or buy equipment based on your financial situation and your business needs. Leasing sometimes can reduce upfront costs, while buying provides a long-term saving. So you have to think about what you can do and what your specific needs are in that point in time of starting that business. Now, as it applies to security and backup, listen, you got to understand data security. You got to implement data security measures because you want to protect your business information. So you have to have antivirus software, firewalls. You want to have secured passwords. You got to regularly back up your data. That's what I mean by backup solutions or backup. Look, you got to regularly back up your data because you're trying to prevent loss due to hardware failure or cyber attacks. Now, I use cloud storage, and I also use external hard drives for backup. So you can use them in tandem. You can use one or the other. I think that you should use them in tandem. You use a hard drive and have it saved in the cloud. Where did it go? It's in the cloud. Okay, if the cloud works, then hey, hopefully it never rains. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so let's talk about hiring employees. I'm going to tell you like this. Hiring the right employees is essential for building a successful business. And I'm going to talk about how to do that. You got to define roles and responsibilities. That means that you are clearly defining the roles and responsibilities for each position that you have. You create detailed job descriptions that basically outline the required skills and all of the qualifications. Then you focus on that recruitment. You advertise job openings through a variety of channels. You can use job boards, you can use social media, you can use a professional network. But consider working with a recruitment agency if that's needed. Now, as it applies to interviewing and selecting candidates, you have to conduct thorough interviews. You have to assess the candidate's skills, their experience, and their cultural fit for your business environment. But use a structured interview process because you want to ensure fair, consistent interviewing. I hope that makes sense. You need a structured interview process because you want to ensure consistency and fairness. You know, you got to do background checks. And the reason why I say that is because you got to verify if those candidates, they qualify and they don't hit any, those background red flags, if you know what I mean. Now as it applies to legal requirements for employees, listen, you got employment law, you got classifications, you got payroll taxes, you got benefits, you got insurance. It's a big thing, so you got to familiarize yourself with federal, state, and local employment laws. You got to understand the regulation on wages. You got to understand your working hours. You got to understand discrimination. You got to understand workplace safety. These are all things that have to rotate in your mind as it applies to having employees and hiring employees, because to correctly classify your employees as full-time, part-time, or independent contractors, you do that to ensure compliance with labor laws and tax regulations. But don't try to take the easy way out. Do the right thing. Set up a payroll system to manage your employee compensation. Look, it is your responsibility, once again, to withhold and pay the appropriate payroll taxes. Now, as it applies to like the benefits and insurance, right? You got to determine the benefits that your business will offer, like health insurance, retirement plans, paid time off. You obtain workers' compensation insurance because that's required by law, right? Now, as it applies to onboarding and training, you're going to have orientation training programs. And of course, you're going to have an employee handbook. Some people don't think to do this because they want to take what I call the shortcut. Don't take the easy route. You got what I'm saying? Look, you have to have orientation. Orientation provides a new employee with an orientation. It's basically an introduction to your business, your policies, your procedures. You got to ensure they understand their roles and their responsibilities. You develop a comprehensive training program. And the reason why you do that is because you want to ensure that you equip your employees with the necessary skills, knowledge, and resources so that they can be successful in their hired position. So you have to totally believe in continuous training and development because that helps improve their performance, and overall, it will help you to retain the talent that you have hired. Now, you also have to have an employee handbook. Now, I say that because creating an employee handbook outlines your business's policies, procedures, and the expectations of your business. It is setting that employee up for success. It is a reference guide for those employees because you want to ensure consistency, because that is how you create a desired outcome of success. Now, as it applies to developing a marketing strategy, I want you to think about all of this. I'm going to talk you through this, right? A well-defined marketing strategy is very important. And I say that is important because I think that is essential for attracting and retaining customers. So think about how to develop an effective marketing plan. You identify your target audience, right? You create a marketing plan. You do budgeting, resource allocation. You measure, you evaluate all of these things because you want to be successful, right? So how you initially do this to develop this effective marketing plan, you analyze your demographics. You determine the age, the gender, the income level, the education, the occupation of all of the individuals within your target market, that target customer. And then you understand the psychographics. That means that you understand your audience's interests, their values, their lifestyle, their behavior. Then you think about the customer needs. You identify the specific needs and pain points of your target audience. Now, when you do all of this, it helps to tailor your products or your services to meet the specific needs effectively and efficiently. And of course, as it applies to creating a marketing plan, you got to think about that market research, right? You conduct market research to understand your industry, the market trends, the competitive landscape. You use this information to make an informed decision or create an informed marketing strategy. Now, as it applies to this marketing mix, look up the 4 Ps. I want you to define your marketing mix, and that means your product, your price, your place, and promotion. I also want you to think about the product. Describe your product or your service, the features of that product or service, and the benefits of that product or service. Think about the price. Determine your pricing strategy based on the market research, cost of production, and the perceived value. I want you to decide how and where your product is going to be sold. This could be online, it could be in physical stores, it could be a combination of both. But you also have to outline your promotional strategies, including advertising, public relations, social media, sales promotions. There's a lot in creating a marketing plan. So I want you to think about number 3. Budgeting and resource allocation. Marketing budget, your resource allocation. What are these things, right? You're going to have to allocate a budget or dedicate money to that budget for your marketing activities. Now, this has to include the cost of advertising, promotion, market research, and marketing materials. Now, as it applies to resource allocation, you're going to have to assign responsibilities to team members, and you have to ensure, once again, you have to ensure that you have the necessary tools and resources to execute your marketing plan. Now, as we move on to measuring and evaluating success, listen, they have something called KPIs, right? KPIs are key performance indicators. Now, they measure the success of your marketing efforts. Now, this could include metrics from website traffic. It could be conversion rates. It could be customer acquisition costs, but you have to understand your key performance indicators. What indicates that performance. You have to understand it, because if you can understand that, then you'll understand what your success actually is. Now, of course, you're gonna have to do some adjusting strategies. And this basically is continuously monitoring your marketing performance, and you have to be flexible. So you have to make the adjustments that are necessary to achieve your desired outcome. So you're using the data and the feedback that you get to refine your strategies and to improve your results. Now let's talk about building an online presence. In today's time, an online presence is crucial for modern businesses to reach a broader audience and engage with customers. So here's how to build and enhance your online presence. You got to create a website, right? And as it applies to that website, look, it has to have a professional design. So ensure that your website is professionally designed, user-friendly, and mobile responsive. You can go to a website on a computer, and then sometimes you go to that same website on a mobile device, and it looks different, but it doesn't fill the space of the mobile device. So your website has to be mobilely responsive. It has to fill that mobile device, whether it's an iPad, iPhone, Android, etc. But that design should reflect your brand and provide a positive user experience. Now you're going to have essential pages on that website. Home, about us segment, product, services, contact, maybe even a blog. Each page has to be optimized for search engines, SEO. SEO is an acronym that stands for search engine optimization. I could elaborate on that, but I may do that in a future presentation. You also have to think about the e-commerce functionality of your website, because we're still talking about creating a website. Look, if you plan to sell services, if you plan to sell products online, you're going to have to integrate e-commerce functionality with secured payment options. This is just how it is. We are living in a digital age. You know, Shopify, they have mastered this e-commerce platform, man. I'm telling you, man, there's nothing like it. I'm like, wow, these guys are geniuses. You got what I'm saying? So utilize what works. Shopify works for me. So hopefully, hey, it'll work for you. But hey, I'm not endorsing those individuals. They don't pay me to do so. But hey, like I said, it works for me. Now, as it applies to utilizing social media, I need you to think about some things. I need you to think about your platform selection. I need you to think about content strategy. I need you to think about engagement. Because listen, choosing social media platforms is very important. And you got to choose social media platforms that are popular with your target audience. Now, the most common platforms right now are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Pinterest, right? TikTok as well. Twitter as well. Oh yeah, I've already said Twitter. You know, I'm just thinking about social media because we are living in a time of social media, you know, and content strategy. So listen, you have to develop a content strategy that includes a mix of promotional content, educational posts, and engaging visuals. So use a content calendar to plan and schedule all of your content, because you want that engagement, because active engagement with your followers, I'm telling you, when you respond to their comments, messages, reviews, you know, you got to use social media to build your relationships and foster trust. I'm telling you, it fosters and creates a sense of community. So use social media to your advantage. You can even hire a social media manager, and that individual does all of your social media. They create the content strategy, the content calendar, and then you just there to make sure that everything goes how it's supposed to go. Now, as it applies to email marketing, listen, you got to build an email list. You got to have email campaigns. You got to focus on automation. You just have to do it. There's no way around it. So as it applies to building an email list, listen, you got to collect email addresses through your website, social media, and in-store promotions. Ensure, though, that you have permission from them individuals or from the individual to send marketing emails. But you're not going to bombard them with emails that promote your business and what you're trying to sell, etc. No, you have to create a strategy when you are promoting your business. So you create a whole email campaign, right? And creating regular email campaigns, what it does, it offers some great things. It keeps your audience informed about new services, products, promotions, and just company news. And personalized emails, oh man, they are awesome because they help improve engagement. Now, you remember earlier when I said automation? Look, you have to use email marketing automation tools to send welcome emails, follow-up messages, and target campaigns that is based on your customer behavior. You have to do that because that is the way that your customer feels like they are cared about. Now, as it applies to SEO or search engine optimization, listen, you identify relevant keywords, and you do this through keyword research, right? But you identify these relevant keywords that your target audience is searching for. And then you're using these keywords strategically in your website content, in your blog posts. You got on-page search engine optimization. You got off-page search engine optimization. Listen, you optimize your website's titles, the meta descriptions, the headers, the content, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to improve search engine rankings. So anytime somebody searches for a product, for a service, you want to be number one. You also got to build backlinks from reputable websites because you're trying to increase your site's authority and improve your search rankings. So you're basically building yourself up. You're building your business up to be number one on the search engine. Takes a lot, but I'm definitely certain that you can do it. Now, let's talk about sales techniques. Effective sales techniques are very important. They're very crucial for converting prospects into customers and driving revenue. So what I want to do is I want to talk about some strategies to boost your sales. That's what I want to do. So, prospecting, right? You want to identify your potential customers who may be interested in your products or services, and you're using various techniques like networking, cold calling, online research, social media, etc., right? And then you want to qualify those individuals or qualify that lead. So basically what that is that you're assessing whether a prospect has the need, the budget, and the authority to purchase your product or your service. So you're focused on the efforts is on high quality leads. You want people who just have total buy-in for your product. And they say, you know what? Oh, I want this product. I have to have this product. You got me? So now you're going to have to deliver. You're going to have to present, but you're going to have to deliver a compelling sales presentation. And that sales presentation has to highlight the benefits and the value of your product or your service. So you got to tailor that pitch to address the specific needs of the individual who is your prospect. And when you're doing this, basically you're building customer relations, because it's very important to build a customer relationship. And you do that by following up. You do that by closing the sale. You do that by actively listening, right? And I say that you do active listening because you have to listen to your customers' needs, wants, and concerns. And then you got to show empathy, and you got to show understanding to build trust, to build a relationship, that build up that positive rapport. And then you follow up. You stay in touch with your prospects and with your customers through regular follow-ups. That's the reason why we talking about that email campaign. All of these things work in proper synergy with each other to keep your business at the top of the mind of that customer. And it shows that you value that customer's interest. Now, as it applies to closing the sale list, you got to overcome some objections. You got to create urgency. You got me? You got to create urgency. Look, you address common objections and concerns that your potential prospects or customers have, right? You provide clear and confident responses because you want to alleviate all of their doubts. And when I say creating urgency, listen, you use time-sensitive offers and promotional strategies to encourage your prospects to make the decision on your product right now. You highlight the benefits of acting quickly, and hey, you push them over the edge to make the decision to want your product or your service. And hey, you asking for the sale. Look, don't be afraid to ask for the sale. You're using closing techniques such as the assumptive close, where you assume the sale and then you proceed with the next step. You just pushing on through. It's a psychology behind closing the sale and hooking that customer. You know, that's just how it is. So now you got the sale, you don't push that service, they're great, they love what you're doing. Now you're gonna have to do what I call post-sale follow-up. Look, you ensuring customer satisfaction. Your goal is to build that loyalty, right? And of course, you're offering those referrals. That's what affiliate marketing and affiliate links is all about. Listen, so we're gonna break it down. You ensure that your customers are satisfied with their purchase. And then you follow up to address any concerns and to gather their feedback, right? Because when you do that, it fosters long-term relationships because it's providing excellent customer service and is offering a loyalty type of program and is creating a repeat purchase type of incentive. And when you're doing all of that, you're encouraging your satisfied customer to refer your business to others. So you may offer referral incentives to motivate them. That's the purpose of affiliate marketing. Yeah. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take another break, and then we're going to jump on back into budgeting and finances. Oh man, this is going to be a monster. Okay, let's talk about budgeting and financial controls. Man, this is going to be a monster. Listen, effective financial management is crucial for the sustainability and the growth of your business. So here's how to create a solid financial foundation. You create a business budget. Now, this business budget has to have your income projections, your expense projections, your profit margins, your cash flow management, all these good things, right? So let's talk about them. As it applies to income projections, listen, you're going to have to estimate your expected revenue based on market research, historical data, and sales forecast. Then you have to list all of your business expenses, including fixed costs like rent, salaries, and your variable costs, things that fluctuate, utilities, marketing, etc. Then you're going to have to calculate your expected profit margins by subtracting your total expenses from total revenue. You're going to ensure that your margins are sufficient to sustain and grow your business. You're going to monitor your cash flow because you want to ensure that you have enough cash to cover your expenses. So you're going to use cash flow statements to track the inflow and the outflow of that money. Now you got to implement financial controls. So you have to understand the concepts of segregation of duties, internal audits, and basically approval processes and financial reporting. And I'm going to talk about those things right now. Now, as it applies to segregating of duties, listen, you have to divide financial responsibilities amongst different employees to prevent fraud and error. For example, you got to separate the tasks of recording transactions and handling cash. Does that make sense? Okay. Put cash in the comment section or in the chat if it makes sense. Okay. That means that we're doing okay. I know it's been a long presentation. I got an hour to go. How much time do you got? And look, if you're listening to this after I've already done the presentation, it's okay. You can come back to this, take a lot of notes, think about it, do some research yourself. I'm telling you, leave in the comment section, let's have a dialogue. Let's have a proper conversation. Now, you're also going to have to do an internal audit, right? That means that you have to conduct regular internal audits to review financial transactions and ensure compliance with policies and procedures. This is your responsibility. You have to also establish an approval process for significant expenses and financial decisions. Now, this adds an extra layer of oversight and accountability. You also have to generate regular financial reports like income statements, balance sheets, cash flow statements, because you want to monitor the health of your business, because your business's financial health is very important. So you're taking all of these steps because of that importance. So you have to create a business budget and you have to implement financial controls. Now we're going to talk about something very big: funding your business. Securing adequate funding is often a super challenge for a new business because people do not know you. You don't have the credibility that you know that you will earn and that you will gain. But I'm going to talk about some common funding options. You got personal savings, you got bank loans, you got investors, you got crowdfunding, you got grants, you even have the SBA. Now, as it applies to personal savings, using your own money to fund your business is the most straightforward option because it demonstrates your commitment to the business, but it involves personal financial risk. Now, as it applies to bank loans, look, traditional loans from banks or credit unions, they can provide a significant amount of money, but they require good credit history, a solid business plan, and collateral. Now, as it applies to investors, you could have angel investors or venture capitalists, and they can provide large amounts of capital in exchange for equity in your business. Now, this can be beneficial, but it could involve giving up some control of your business. Now, as it applies to crowdfunding, raising small amounts of money from a large number of people through platforms like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, I think is a good option for businesses, especially if they have like a innovative product or they got this compelling story. Now, as it applies to grants are basically non-repayable funds. And they're provided by government agencies, nonprofits, or private organizations, and they are highly competitive. And man, when I tell you they have strict eligibility criteria, it's very difficult. But as long as you meet that criteria, hey man, you could be good to go. Now, as it applies to the Small Business Administration or the SBA, they have loans, right? They offer loans with favorable terms to small businesses. Now, these loans are partially guaranteed by the government, and it reduces the risk for whoever the lender is, right? So when you're seeking funding, this is what I want you to learn from all of this funding your business though, right? Because I gotta, give you a conclusion of it. Listen, when you're seeking funding, you have to be massively prepared and you have to be very meticulous because they're gonna want a business plan. So you have to be prepared with a detailed business plan. You have to have logical financial projections, and you have to have a clear explanation of how this money will be used. You are not going to be able to just pull the wool over someone's eyes. You have to have a properly solidified, a properly prepared, detailed business plan if you want funding from outside sources other than yourself. So let's talk about bookkeeping and accounting. Listen, maintaining accurate financial records is essential for managing your businesses effectively and efficiently. So let's talk about some business practices. You have to keep track of your income and expenses. Now, you usually do this through accounting software, through expense category, all these good things, right? Listen, use accounting software. They have QuickBooks, they got Xero, they got FreshBooks. You want to streamline your bookkeeping process. I'm telling you, these tools help you record transactions, generate invoices, and they track expenses. You got to organize your expenses into categories to make it easier to track and analyze your spending. Now, common categories are rent, utilities, payroll, marketing, right? So now, let's push on to number 2. Separate personal and business finances. Never penetrate or pierce the corporate veil. Have you ever heard that? I don't know if you like Walmart not Walmart movies, but Wall Street movies and things of that nature, but they always talk about piercing the corporate veil. So you can never do that. That basically means you do not mix your personal finances and your business finances. So have a business bank account, have a business credit card. Does that make sense? So look, open a dedicated business bank card, business bank account. If you do that, you will avoid mixing your personal and your business funds. This simplifies bookkeeping and it ensures accurate financial reporting. Use a business credit card for your business-related purchases. This helps to build your business credit and provides you with a clear record of all of your business expenses. Please listen to what I said. Do not mix your business and your personal. They do not go together. It's like water and vegetable oil. They just don't mix. So let's talk about monitoring your cash flow. You got cash flow statements, you got account receivables and payable, right? So you have to regularly review your cash flow statements to track the inflow and the outflow of cash. And if you do that, that ensures that you have enough cash to cover your expenses and identify any potential cash flow problems. You also got to keep track of your accounts receivable. That's money owed to you, and your accounts payable. That's money that you owe to someone else. You got to follow up on all your overdue invoices, and you got to manage your payables to maintain a good supplier relationship. If you are paying a paper bag company for paper bags, and then you owe money to that paper bag company, they're not going to give you paper bags. Does that make sense? You need the paper bags for your popcorn. I'm just giving simplified examples, That's just how it is. So now let's talk about number 4. Prepare financial statements. Look, you have to summarize your revenue, expenses, and your profits over a specific amount of time because it helps you assess your business's profitability and it helps you to analyze your financial performance. So you use that income statement to do that, right? And then you analyze that balance sheet because that balance sheet provides a snapshot of your business's financial position, including assets, liabilities, and the equity. It helps you basically to understand your business's financial health and to make sure that that business has stability. And if not, you'll be able to see that that business is not stable. And you can see that by analyzing that balance sheet. So let's talk about cash flow statement. Now listen, this basically tracks the flow of cash that goes in and out of your business, but it helps you to manage that cash flow. And because you want to ensure that you have enough cash to cover all of your obligations. No IOUs, no IOUs. Now I'm talking about a lot of things, right? I'm talking about bookkeeping and accounting. And I'm doing this because I want you to understand that it's not an easy road. It's not an easy road, once again. So you may want to consider hiring an accountant or a bookkeeper, especially as your business is growing. Because an accountant or a bookkeeper provides valuable insight. They will ensure that you are compliant with tax law, and they will help you make informed financial decisions. So if you get a tax advisor, I'm telling you, work with a tax advisor because you want to make sure that you meet all of your tax obligations, and you're trying to take advantage of all of the tax deductions or credits that are available to your business. Let's talk about planning for growth, right? We're going to talk about growth and scaling. Oh man, this is something right here. Now look, scaling your business, it requires careful planning and strategic execution. And we're going to talk about steps on preparing for growth. Now, as it applies to assess your readiness, you're going to have to evaluate whether your business is ready for growth by analyzing your financial health, the market demand, and the operational capacity of your business. You have to ensure that you have the resources and infrastructure in place to support expansion. You got to set growth goals. And basically that means that you're defining clear, measurable objectives for growth, such as increasing revenue, expanding product lines, or entering a new market. Remember, you use SMART criteria. Remember I was talking about the SMART criteria? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. You're using that SMART criteria to achieve your goals. You're developing a growth strategy by creating a detailed plan, and you're outlining the steps that you're going to take to achieve those growth goals. Now, this may include increasing production. It may include, enhancing your marketing efforts or investing in new technology, whatever it is as it applies to your business, but you have to develop a growth strategy. You're also going to strengthen that team. It's your responsibility to ensure that you have the right people in place to support and nourish growth. Now, this may involve hiring new employees, developing the existing employees that you have, or maybe even outsourcing certain functions of your business. But you got to secure financing. It's up to you. So you got to assess your financial needs, and you got to explore the options for financing growth, reinvesting profits, maybe obtaining loans, maybe attracting investors. But it is your responsibility to secure financing of your business, especially when you are planning for growth. You got to grow. Now, as it applies to improvements, systems, and processing, right? You got to streamline your operations to handle the increased demand efficiently and effectively. You got to invest in technology. You have to think about the infrastructure of your business. Does it support scalability? If it does, you're good to go. If it doesn't, then you're going to have to invest in technology and invest in that infrastructure, because you have to grow. You have to scale your business. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about I don't growth strategies. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Managing growth strategies. Listen, growth brings new challenges, right? And those challenges have to be managed effectively. So we're going to talk about some common challenges, and I'm trying to offer a couple of tips for overcoming those challenges. As it applies to maintaining quality. As you scale that business, it's your responsibility to ensure that the quality of your products or your services do not decline. So you got to implement quality control measures, and you got to maintain a high standard. Now, as it applies to cash flow management, listen, sometimes, most of the times, growth can strain your finances. So you got to monitor your cash flow closely and ensure that you have sufficient working capital to support the expansion of your business. And you got to be flexible. So you got to be able to adapt to change, because growth often requires changes in your business model. It requires changes in the processes that you have. It requires changes in the culture that you have. So you have to be flexible, and you have to be open to adapting as needed. Now, as it applies to customer retention, I want you to focus on retaining existing customers, even while you're acquiring new customers. And I'm telling you, providing excellent customer service and engagement with your loyal customer base is where it's at. You're going to have to ensure that your team can handle the increased workload. So you're going to have to delegate tasks efficiently, effectively. You're going to have to consider automation to improve your efficiency. And as you grow, you're going to have to continue to innovate, and you're going to have to differentiate your offerings to stay ahead of the competition. Because while you're doing all of this, the competition is doing all of this as well. So regularly review your growth strategy and adjust it based on performance and the conditions of the market that you are in. So I'm going to give you some of my thoughts. Listen, man, it's very, very difficult, right? It's very, very, very difficult. When you're thinking about the economy, you're thinking about building generational wealth, you're thinking about, the community impact that you have. It's difficult owning a business and starting a business. Very, very difficult. But you got to think about identifying viable business solutions. You got to think about conducting market research. You got to think about analyzing your competition. You got to think about business planning, creating a business plan, setting goals, financial planning. You got to think about that business structure, registering your business. You got to think about, the tax obligations. You're thinking about all of these things, right? But the focus is always economic impact, building generational wealth, and that community impact. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna affect the future? Starting a business is a monumental step. It's filled with challenges, it's filled with a lot of rewards, but the importance of starting a business, it extends beyond personal success and satisfaction. It plays a crucial role in the broader economic landscape, and it contributes to the creation of generational wealth. So I want you to understand the importance of starting a business. I want you to understand that economic impact. I want you to understand the importance of job creation, innovation, the competition, economic growth, tax revenue, financial independence, asset accumulation, legacy, wealth creation. I want you to think about empowerment, the fulfillment that you have. I want you to think about community development. I want you to think about yourself as an inspiration to a generation that you may never see. That's what I want you to do. It's very important for you to start a business. Small businesses are the backbone of the economy. They provide a significant portion of employment opportunities. By starting a business, you contribute to job creation, which reduces unemployment rates and stimulates the economy. If you are an entrepreneur right now, I applaud you because you drive innovation by bringing new ideas, products, services to the market. And this innovation fosters competition, which leads to better quality of goods and services. It leads to lower prices. It leads to an increased consumer choice. Businesses generate economic activity through their operations. They purchase supplies, right? They invest in technology. They pay wages, all of which circulate money through the economy, which creates economic growth. So this activity contributes to the gross domestic product and the overall economic growth of this country. I want you to think about businesses. They contribute to government revenue through taxes, and these taxes fund essential public services like education, healthcare, infrastructure, and these are crucial to maintaining a well-functioning society. Now, I already talked about building generational wealth, but I need you to understand the importance of financial independence. Look, owning a business can provide financial independence because it allows you to build a stable and substantial income stream. And this independence creates a high quality of life and creates financial stability. A successful business accumulates assets, right? Significant amount of assets over time. Look, you'll accumulate property, equipment, intellectual property, and all of these assets appreciate in value, and they are passed down to future generations. So this is how it impacts your legacy. This is how it creates that succession of greatness. A business creates a lasting impression. It creates a lasting legacy because it provides opportunities for future generations. And I'm telling you, by involving family members in the business, you can instill invaluable, priceless skills, work ethic, entrepreneurial spirit. A well-managed business can be transferred or it can be sold. It can ensure financial stability for your descendants. You are creating wealth. Now, unlike the salary of a job, business ownership offers the potential for substantial wealth creation. Profits, they can be reinvested to grow the business. You can use them to diversify the investments. You can, create a financial portfolio with those profits. Look, wealth can be leveraged to fund education, invest in real estate. It can fund additional ventures. You just have so much impact. Not just personal, not just in the community, global impact. And it creates empowerment. It creates fulfillment. Starting and running a business provides a sense of just strength. It allows you to pursue your passion. It allows you to make your own decisions and see the direct impact of your efforts. So when you think about business, I want you to think about just everything that you're affecting. You're affecting community development because businesses, they play a vital role in community development. They provide local employment, they support community initiatives, and they contribute to the local economy. So successful businesses, in essence, they give back to their own community. They can do charitable activity, they can do sponsorships, they can do volunteering. Listen, I encourage you to start your own business, because as a business owner, you can inspire others to pursue their entrepreneurial dreams. Your success story could motivate other individuals to take that chance, to take that risk, to innovate and contribute to economic growth. So embrace this journey as an aspiring entrepreneur. I want you to feel encouraged, feel empowered. Entrepreneurship, it's a journey. It's a marathon, and it's filled with a lot of ups and downs. So embrace the learning experiences, celebrate all your small victories, and keep going. Persist through all of your challenges, because every single step that you take brings you closer to your goal. So I want to encourage you to have continuous learning. So stay curious and committed to self-improvement. Look, the business landscape is consistently and constantly evolving, so you got to stay informed about the industry trends. You got to stay on top of technology, because technological advancement is always happening. You got to think about the best practices that will help you stay competitive in this business market. You got to network, you got to collaborate, you got to build a strong network of mentors, peers, industry experts, right? And then networking provides valuable insight. It provides support, opportunities for collaboration. So don't be afraid to seek advice and share your experience with other individuals. I want you to always prioritize delivering value to your customers. If I can tell you anything, look, focus on value, understanding your customer needs, exceed their expectations, and build strong relationships, because customer satisfaction is the foundation of all successful and sustainable businesses. The business environment right now has always been unpredictable, but you're going to have to cultivate adaptability and resilience to navigate changes and overcome obstacles. So I want to encourage you to have that adaptability, to have that resilience. You have to be flexible, and you have to be mentally open to new ideas, because that will help you thrive in all of these challenging and dynamic environments. The business environment is just something like you've never seen. I'm telling you, it's just like you have never seen it. But listen, I need you to have long-term vision. Think about the marathon. So I want you to set ambitious but realistic goals to build a successful business. You can do it. Now, of course, it takes time, energy, effort, patience, but you stay focused on the vision. You work diligently to accomplish that. And I'm telling you, you can do it. Starting a business is how it's supposed to be. It's a powerful way to make a meaningful impact on the economy, create opportunities for future generations, achieve personal financial fulfillment, create generational wealth. Your entrepreneurial journey right now has the potential to leave a lasting legacy and inspire others to pursue their dreams. So listen, the road to success is paved with persistence, with innovation, and a passion for making a difference. So embrace the challenges that you have in life, celebrate your successes, and keep moving forward. I'm getting ready to wrap this presentation up, but I want to thank you so much for just being in this virtual space with me. Thank you so much. Look, we're finally at the end, but I want you to understand that I'm proud of you for making it this far in life. Even for this presentation, thanks for making it this far in this presentation. We have explored the essential aspects of starting a business, from idea to planning to financial management, scaling for growth. We have also highlighted the significant impact that businesses have on the economy and the potential for building generational wealth. So as you embark on your entrepreneurial journey, remember, your efforts contribute to a bigger picture, to a larger economic and social fabric, a driving innovation, of creating jobs and fostering a community of development. So look, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Put them in the chat right now, but leave them in the comment section for future individuals. Look, you can also email me at tonyatlas@consultant.com. Ask about any of the topics that I covered or shared, any specific concerns that you have about starting a business. Listen, we can definitely work together to ensure that we produce your desired outcome. Thank you so much. This is Earn Your Money. Now, I'm going to have in the future, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I'm going to call it Earn Your Money. And listen, we're going to do business series. We're going to do a lot of great things. You know, I have all these visions in my mind of what I want to accomplish for Earn More Money, because I'm telling you, everyone wants to earn more money. Listen, I'm going to talk to you